Hello, friends. It's great to be with you here electronically. I was looking forward to coming to St. George's in the flesh, and that's what was in my diary. But I'm really grateful to Jane and to all of you for the opportunity to be with you this way instead, and also for the opportunity to think with you about the reading from the Bible that's been set for today. I'm concentrating on the Gospel reading, the verses from St. Matthew chapter 9 and chapter 10, which have been read today. These are in the middle, if you like, of Jesus's ministry. He's going around the place. Gosh, wouldn't we like to do that now? But he's going around the place. And just look at what the words are that the Bible says about what he does. So it says, Jesus went about all the cities and villages, and he was teaching in the synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom and curing every disease and every sickness. Teaching, proclaiming, and curing. In the middle of this pandemic, when everyone's looking for a vaccine and we long for the day when we can meet again and when this virus will be under control, we look to the Bible and we think, please, Jesus, help us in our work of curing. And as we know, the Bible is full of miracle stories, and so is the history of the church. But in the main, the way we live our lives brings together these three things: teaching and proclaiming and curing, in such a way that we can live reflecting the healing love of God, speaking about Jesus when we have a chance to do that, if people ask us, and proclaiming the good news of the kingdom. So in our diocese, as you know, we say that we're asking God for a bigger church to make a bigger difference. And we say more people knowing Jesus, more justice in the world. In other words, we try to bring together teaching about Jesus and proclaiming about God's kingdom, the kingdom where nobody is crushed, the kingdom where every single person matters, where those especially who've been pushed to the edge matter, where black lives matter, where disabled lives matter. That's the kingdom we proclaim. That's the Jesus we teach about. And then out of that, there comes the curing ministry of the church, the healing ministry of the church. And you may think to yourself, well, what can I do in the midst of this virus? What can I do to bring wholeness to people's lives? But I tell you, friends, God has given you, by his grace, the ability to bring a cure into people's lives. Not necessarily a cure for the virus, but certainly a cure for the loneliness and the sadness and the despair that so many people have now as they feel locked up, as they're not sure who should be in their bubble. Loneliness and sadness, which the church has always been able to cure through the gift of community. So I want to encourage you as you read this Bible passage that these things that we're talking about apply to you and that they make sense in your lives as you hold tight to what it is that God calls you to do. The Bible story goes on to say that Jesus called together those 12 disciples, just ordinary people. And as we know, some of them, Judas, went off the rails. Some of them, Peter, was terribly weak. But they were called by God and they were given authority. It's not that they were suddenly made strong as if they had magic powers. But Jesus said to them, I've chosen you. And you can go out and you can speak, you can teach, you can proclaim about justice, and you can cure. And when the Bible says that people were cured and the dead were raised, this language may well be true in those days. And now and again it's even true in our day. But much more often true than that is what happens when you do the Jesus thing in your own life. When you pick up the telephone and ring one friend, we say in the diocese, we used to say, bring one friend to church. Now when it's hard to do that, we say, ring one friend, pick up the phone and talk to someone. Bring into their lives the knowledge that they're loved. In other words, cure their loneliness and sadness. And the Bible goes on to say Jesus sent them out with those instructions. Go and find the people who are lost. People who in the midst of all the riches of this world may still be sad and sorrowful, perhaps bereaved, frightened. Most of all, those who are alone. Go out to them. And as you go, and again we hear this word, proclaim. Speak about the way this country and this world and this whole situation with the coronavirus, speak about how it could be. It could be that we could learn to love each other again. It could be that we can build up community so that those on the edge are not forgotten. It could be that we can produce a place where the lives of marginal and hurting people matter, where black lives matter, where disabled lives matter, where the lives of the lonely and ignored matter. And then the final words of Jesus in this passage. You received without payment, give without payment. In other words, God has given you all this free of charge. Give yourself away. That's ordinary people being prepared to be there for others. That is the royal road to curing the world. To curing the world of its sickness, of its sorrow, to curing the world of its loneliness and pain. And friends, every one of you is a part of that. I honor you for what you've done over the years at St. George's. I ask God to bless you into the future. And I promise you that I'll pray for you here at Bishop's Lodge in all that you do through these days of sadness, through these days of the virus, and on into the future. May God be with you all. Thank you for the chance to speak to you. Please pray for me and for all the bishops as we do our best to guide the church through these days. And please be sure of my prayers for you. God bless you.